Hi, everybody. This is Andrea Paquette from Stigma-Free Society, and I'm the president and co-founder. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today on our Facebook and YouTube Live. I'm very excited because we have a great announcement today, and we also have some special guests from AutismBC. So first we have Julia. And Julia, first and foremost, I was wondering if you could share your title and what you do at AutismBC.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Julia. I'm the executive director at AutismBC. I do a little bit of everything, and I've been with the organization for almost 2.5 years.
Right on. And hi, Lisa. This is the first time we have met, so welcome to our live. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Andrea. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Lisa Watson. I'm also with AutismBC. I'm the regional coordinator for the interior. I'm based out of Kelowna. I've been with AutismBC for just over 5 years, and it's a great place to work. It's been a great experience for me. I also have a child on the spectrum, and it's really something I fell right into.
Excellent, Lisa. And I think you're the perfect person for the first question. You've been with AutismBC for over 5 years, you say? That's really awesome. So can you tell our viewers a little bit about your organization, the vision, the mission, what contributions you make to the community?
Sure, sounds good. AutismBC has been around for a long time. We've been around since 1975, and we started as a grassroots organization, and we originally were parent-led. So AutismBC used to be called, or our legal name is still the Autism Society of BC. Some people might know us as that still. When I started about 5 years ago, I didn't know anything really about the Autism Society of BC, now known as AutismBC, even though I'd been in the autism world for quite a while. So I think we've come a long way. One of our mission or vision, I guess, is to have an inclusive society where people on the autism spectrum are living their best lives. So we're trying to make sure that we include everyone on the autism spectrum, not just the verbal autistics that can self-advocate for themselves, but also to get through to the nonverbal or the limited verbal people that need higher supports as well. So we're a small team. There's only about 12 of us, I think. Julia would probably know that better. Our head office is in Richmond, BC, and we've got regional coordinators such as myself on the island, in the north, and in the Okanagan.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Your organization is very admirable. We're very happy to have become a partner for quite a long time now. And Julia, I was wondering if we could touch on the stigma-free zone designation. When was the first time we met? Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was pretty soon after I joined the organization. I joined right after our former board president took a public stance against SOGI 123 teachings in school, which is sexual orientation and gender identity teaching. And at that time, our community raised a lot of concerns about our inclusiveness as an organization. And I was trying to figure out in my first weeks and months at AutismBC, what can I do to ensure we really are an inclusive organization? I didn't want a big PR approach where we're, putting out all this messaging about inclusivity. I wanted us to dig inward and really look at, as a team, are we truly inclusive and what can we do better? I think it was really about just creating a space to talk about like diversity and inclusion. And, I know we started off doing these TED Talk Fridays where for an hour or two on a Friday once a month, we everybody on the team picked out a TED Talk with a message or, a belief that they believed in. And we talked about that. And it just opened up natural discussions about things that our staff really cared about. And we just leveraged each of those conversations until they became a natural part of our discussions as a team and the daily work that we do. And one day when before we got to that point, one day I was walking into the office and I saw this stigma-free sticker on the door. And I said, okay, well, what's this? This seemed like I don't know exactly what I needed to do that day. And I went did a bit of research and reached out to Andrea, and we started talking about, some steps we could take as an organization. And it was really helpful to get that guidance on this journey of figuring out what our commitment was to inclusion as an organization. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing meeting you that day. I remember how excited you were that you discovered Stigma-Free Society in a bigger way and learning about the Designation program. So what that consists of, for people who don't know about this program, it's tailored to each organization, but we really strongly advocate for organizations to take steps to be stigma-free. And one of the things is having presentation, education, and I believe EJ came to your organization. What did you think of that presentation? Lisa, you saw that as well?
Yeah, it was great. It was really eye-opening for me because it was a great learning experience, because I did need to learn more. And it was a great open discussion. EJ welcomed questions and to ask what we were wondering. So it was kind of our first little foray into the stigma-free, getting our designation, I think. So
yeah, and EJ identifies as non-binary and is one of our stigma-free presenters for the last many years. So we're really excited that we were able to bring them over to AutismBC from Victoria. That was pretty great. And Julia, I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the steps you've taken. I know you mentioned the TED Talks, and creating, cultivating that stigma-free culture. But what did you guys do?
Yeah, I'll say a few things, and then I'll let Lisa say a few things
too.
One of the things I'm most proud of is we just elected 2 new board members, and we have our first autistic representation on our board, which was probably too little, too late, to be honest with you. I wish that we had more autistic representation on our board, but I know Lucas Gates, one of our new board members, says, I'm proud to be the first, but I know I won't be the last. And that, to me, is like a very concrete sign to show to the community that we really do care about representation. And Kelly Baines, our other board member that was recently elected, is from the Indo-Canadian community. So it's not only about representation in terms of having autistic people be a part of our organization, but looking at all forms of diversity that need to be recognized and included as well. Yeah. And Lisa, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think that's great. And those were a couple of the touch points I was going to talk about as well. And I think we've focused a lot on inclusive language in the last few years. We've relaunched our website. It used to be something that we didn't really direct people to because it was pretty archaic. It looks great now. And I'm happy to direct. Yeah, I'm happy to direct people to it. And we've got some great blogs. It's user friendly. And so I think what we tried to do is we got together as a team when we were recreating the website and just kind of going through where we were at. And, we got together as a team. We talked about inclusive language, what it looks like. We all kind of collaborated as well as expressed our own opinions about it. So that's the nice thing I find is that, we all have different opinions, but we're open to express them. And, there's some back and forth, and it's really hard to please everyone. But we're trying our best to make sure our language is inclusive. And as you know, language is always changing too. So.
Yeah, I definitely know about that. We enrolled Inclusion BC and Autism BC into our diversibility section on our student mental health toolkit. So thank you so much for your contributions to that. And I definitely know what you mean about creating language that's inclusive. And it's not easy, is it? Because you're right, a lot of people will have different opinions, but the fact that you're taking that step and being collaborative is really admirable. It's great. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say another thing that we're trying to do is, like Julia had said, more focusing a little bit. We have weekly scrums, which are great. And we're trying to focus a little bit more on having a portion of it directed to something stigma-free or mental health related. So that's the nice thing, is it feels like there's the opportunity for that at Autism BC, and we're always learning. And stigma-free, when I went onto your website and I learned more, and I was Googling like stigma-free exercises we could do as a staff, and it's been a great experience. Yeah. And it's helped us get to know each other better as well.
Oh, definitely. It's great.
Lisa, sorry to interrupt. Lisa is our stigma-free champion. So
wow.
She volunteered for that role. So it's on her portfolio that she comes up with exercises or little moments of reflection. A lot of them have to do with self-care, which has been really important over the last year, with COVID being an additional stress in everybody's lives. So she's been, that's part of the reason why I wanted to invite her to this interview, is she's been a big part of the stigma-free movement in our organization.
That's amazing, Lisa. That's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. It's still a learning experience, right? Like sometimes I have to like recheck my thinking or what I'm about to say, and we're just learning and evolving. So
yeah. So what does the designation mean to both of you? Julia, to start perhaps, what does it mean to have a stigma-free zone designation? And that's really what we're announcing here today. And we're going to be releasing a blog tomorrow and sharing on social media. So if everybody could share that, that would be deeply appreciated as well. So what are your thoughts around like the symbolism of it, or like the cultivation? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's a really wonderful way to honor our partnership. And I think that for me, it's really just to demonstrate our accountability to being stigma-free. Like, I don't see it as a stamp of approval of all of a sudden you're inclusive, you're super stigma-free, you're awesome, that's great. I see it more as, this is just to define our position on being inclusive, and that we're accountable to that work in an ongoing way. So I just feel like it's a nice way to formalize all the work we've done together. And I feel like it will be very well received by our team, who's done a lot of work in this area, just to feel that recognition for the work that we've all done.
Definitely. And Lisa, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I agree with what Julia's saying as well. And I feel that, the stigma-free designation, I've always felt like it's been a welcoming place to work. Perhaps, again, that's my experience. So, but I feel like it just, the stigma-free designation itself, it just, it's kind of like, yes, we have done the hard work. It's not just talking about it. We've actually done some action with what we're doing. And when we're writing things and our blogs are going out, we're constantly like, okay, is this, will this be offensive? How is this going to be perceived? And, we're checking in with each other and making sure, and to try to be as inclusive as possible. But I think we do a really good job of not just saying that we've gotten the stigma-free designation, but I've felt like with my own mental health struggles over the last year, working for Autism BC, I felt that we don't have that stigma. When we are having a team scrum or something like that, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm having a crappy day. Like, this is not going well for me right now, or I'm going to take the afternoon off because I need to get my head back in the game. So I think it's really good to know that I feel supported as a team member and as a employee of Autism BC. If I am ever struggling with that, I feel like I can go and talk to the team about it. And there's empathy there as well. So it's not just, and you never feel like you're being judged or anything like that if you're having a hard day. So I feel like we are saying it and we're doing it as well.
Awesome. Yeah, a mental health day is just the same as a physical health day. And I think that's often forgotten in our society, but it's becoming more accepted. I do notice that. And mental health is so important. How are we expected to do our work if we don't have good mental health, right? And then we need to be embraced. And it's so wonderful to see that happening at Autism BC for so long. So that is amazing. As well, say if there's other organizations, Julia, that want to gain a stigma-free designation, do you have any advice that you could give?
Yeah, I think it really starts internally. And I think the work is, for me, it really started from a place of self-reflection and getting to that place of being humble enough to be able to ask yourself, do I have an ableist perspective on something, or do I have a racial bias? Those are, especially in a professional setting, difficult questions to ask yourself honestly. And I think you have to be ready to be able to ask those really kind of humble questions of yourself. I think that's where it starts. I think when you can be vulnerable and be willing to be wrong, that's when the real shift starts to take place. Mm-hmm. I think that's where I would start if you wanted to lean into that type of work.
Yeah. As well, the Stigma-Free tool is a great way to assess our own perceptions and around various stigmas, around different situations. How would we react if we had somebody move into our basement suite and say some of the questions they ask in this tool, and they said they had schizophrenia? Would you feel comfortable with that? And then it really helps us reflect, right? And to get real with our perceptions and our attitudes. So I totally see what you mean. Lisa, as the Stigma-Free champion, what plans, like how, it's great, like Stigma-Free is a journey, like both of you are saying. It's something that we develop on a daily basis. It's never going to end, that learning, and that's a great thing. So how are you going to maintain this culture? Like what are you going to do going forward?
Sorry, do you want me to answer that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just, keep doing what we're doing and not to get complacent and, we're doing enough kind of thing. So I know, just sharing my own personal experience of over the last year, we've had a challenging year. I have a 16-year-old autistic son who's high needs, and we entered into a special needs care agreement through the ministry with him this year. And so now he's in a staffed home. And I remember thinking, like, when we were going through this, how am I going to tell my colleagues about this? Like, I work for AutismBC, and I can't even, I'm saying I can't do this right now. This child has such extraordinary needs that I can't meet them, right? And, just thinking, like, I know if you'd asked me 3 years ago, I would have been like, I would have never been able to do it, or, what kind of stigma was involved in it. But I think it was getting to the point of realizing that my own mental health was important, and that, what I was doing was directly affecting my son down the road as well, like when I was struggling with my own mental health. So I think what I'm doing is I'm just trying to be vulnerable. And when families call and they ask about things like that, or they're asking the hard questions, or they're in crisis, I feel like I'm coming from a point of, I get it. I can empathize with them. I've been there. I've been that person who's close to snapping before. So, and it's a little bit, it still feels a bit stigmatized when you talk about, like, you fill out a form for school and it's like, is this child in care? And I'm clicking, yes, he is in care, right? And just getting your head around it. It seemed like a bit of a secret society. I didn't really know anyone else who had gone through this journey. And since then, with the help of Family Support Institute and some other families I know, we've started doing once a month support calls for families that have kids in care for whatever reason. And so I think it's been good to open up myself and be vulnerable, because I think sometimes we put on this perception that you've got it all together. Well, no one has it all together, especially during COVID, right? So. Yeah,
exactly. And I think there's that self-stigma, right? That shame within ourselves. And that's what I'm hearing from you. And as well, that societal stigma. And it's tough, right? When we feel shameful about something. And I just want to say thank you for being authentic and sharing your truth. It's really important that we all do that. So thanks. And as well, I was wondering, Julia, how do you collect feedback from members and followers on the inclusiveness of your organization?
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about the space for conversation we have on our team together, and pushing that out externally is really important as well. because, it doesn't matter if I think Autism BC is inclusive. It matters if our community members feel that we are inclusive. That's the most important thing. That's the whole point. So, we definitely do surveys, and we have a contact us form on our website that's used a lot, but a lot of it has happened over social media. People leave comments, somewhat anonymously, feeling like they're just, communicating at the web and not realizing that, we're sitting there watching and we're looking at what they have to say. And we reach out and we say, here is my phone number. Here is my email address. I'd love to chat with you about this if you're open to it. If not, that's okay. But if you'd like to talk more, I'm interested in learning. And that's been really helpful over the last year, taking that position and not just posting things on social media and not really looking at the aftermath of it. And we've gotten some really valuable feedback from, people saying like, whoa, wait a second, did you think about this? Or I perceived this way, which, wasn't our intention, and saying, okay, we need to be more careful about how we say things. Yeah. We've also started pulling some committees together to give us feedback on, our community presentations, or, maybe some messaging we're using for a campaign. Right now, we only have one staff member on the spectrum. So we're, working with committees to try to get more diverse feedback on things, because the autism spectrum is very diverse. So you really need as many voices and as much feedback as you can get to really feel like you have a balanced perspective on things. That's something that's been very important to me as the executive director, because I'm not autistic. And autism was very new to me when I started working with Autism BC. So, in the decisions that I make, I've had to take a very collaborative leadership style to really, ask people, and a lot of people, what do you think about this, before making decisions, because I need to know how that's going to impact people. And I want to feel like my decision is going to help a broad, diverse group of people. So that's been a really healthy thing I think we've taken on as an organization, is just consulting with each other and getting feedback and really considering it. There's definitely more to do, but I think at the heart of it, it's just listening. And that's actually one of the values that our staff chose for our core values at our staff conference a few years ago, is we listen. So it's just really honoring that.
Nice. And Lisa, we're talking more about governance, I feel, and cultivating the staff environment. I was wondering if you could tell me a few programs or things that Autism BC offers the community.
Sure. Yeah. And I think I'd like to include that, because we are Autism BC, but we're inclusive to anyone with a diverse ability or a disability. I know the language is still undivided on that one, divided on that one as well, right? Yeah. So, whenever we have someone call and, I have a child that has Down syndrome or FASD, like, we do not want to be that organization that says, you can't come to our programs or anything like that. Everything is inclusive. If you self-identify, or if you are on the spectrum, or if you have another diverse ability, disability. So some of the things that we do, reaching out that way, I think, is our programs. We've got some social connection programs. We've got some coffee meetup programs for families and caregivers. And again, it isn't autism specific. If you're just, you have a child with diverse needs and you want to attend those things, you're welcome to do that as well. And I find that with the whole diverse ability culture, autism is kind of in its own little area as well, right? Because it's, some people might not know this, but the autism families, the children on the spectrum, we do get some provincial funding for them, whereas other diverse abilities don't, right? So, and, we feel fortunate that we do get that. And we feel, I wish everyone could have the same or what they need, right? So I think it's also a little bit interesting, because in the whole autism community as well, depending on where you are on the spectrum, my son can't advocate for himself or talk for himself about, he doesn't know what autism is. So for him, I don't know what language he prefers. So we know that a lot of the autistic individuals are preferring to be identified as an autistic individual as opposed to person first language. But again, those are the autistic individuals that are able to advocate for themselves. So it's so complicated, right? Yeah. To know how. And so usually I just, how would you like to be identified, right? And, if someone asked me that, I would say, hi, I'm Lisa, right? So, and go from there. But yeah, it's a different one, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I wish I could walk into AutismBC. I've moved to Vancouver Island and COVID, of course, and bring your Stigma-Free Zone designation plaque. And it would be so nice for you to have that in your office. So when the time permits and when the conditions allow, to let me know and I will make that happen. And are you all working mostly virtually right now? Yeah, it's like everybody else for sure.
I've always been virtual, so it's kind of not a whole lot of difference for me. But yeah, I think it's more of a change for Julia and a few of the Richmond staff members.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, both of you, for your thoughtfulness, being authentic, taking on this journey, and simply embracing stigma-free, and for being a partner of the Stigma-Free Society. We're always so proud when we mention that we are a partner with AutismBC. We've had such great support personally, our organization, from you. So thank you so much for that. And I was wondering, is Julia and Lisa, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, really, it's just like saying thank you right back. You guys really helped us at a crucial time when we're, rebuilding as an organization. I'm just seeing a rainbow go out over Vancouver. It's just making me feel kind of momentous. We're just really grateful to have you guys as partners. And I think you really position yourselves to work with organizations and work with people rather than, setting a standard of how every organization needs to be. And yeah, I think we've kind of rebuilt together, and I'm very, very, very grateful for your support. And moving forward, I'm excited to see what new comes from Stigma-Free and how we can continue to support the community together, since we have very similar goals for our organizations. So thank you.
Thanks. Lisa, did you want anything?
Yeah, I would say thank you as well. We feel grateful to have the partnership. I think I would like to get the word out more about Stigma-Free. I know a few friends of mine that work for organizations that still seem very old school. I'd like to let them know about it. So
we'll share the blog, right?
That's going to be up right tomorrow. Yeah. So, and I just shared the mental health tool resource with another family the other day. And nice. I think it's just, getting the word out about what we're doing. And, we're trying. We might not always get it right, but I think we're humble enough to accept that when we don't get it right, we will take the flack for it for sure. So, and things are always changing, and we're working and trying our best. Yeah.
And I think that's the best that we can do. And the fact that you're embracing this journey is admirable and absolutely amazing. So congratulations to both of you and to your entire organization. And I just want to give a little shout out right now. Lucas Gates is watching, one of my favorite people. So hello. And we will be in touch with you soon as well, Lucas. So thank you, Julia, Lisa, and to everybody at AutismBC. We will be in touch. And remember, everybody, let's create a stigma-free world together. Thank you.